So look, there's definitely some big advantages to training with groups, but at the moment, training solo is allowing me to really dial in my intensity control. And while I do plan on training more with groups in the future, here's a full week of training where my only training partner is this camera. Tuesday morning, we've got a VO2 workout where we're going to do 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off.
Down in London town to go-go. With the record selection and the mirror's reflection, I'm dancing with myself. When there's no one else inside, in the crowded lonely night. Well, I ain't so long for my love vibration, and I'm dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. Dancing with myself.
Alright, last one.
There's nothing to lose and there's nothing to prove, but I'm dancing with myself.
Alright, solid workout. It's good to get some more VO2 stuff in. I'm starting to think that the improvements I saw on the bike after Port Macquarie was a combination of bringing in more aerobic work at that proper zone 2 intensity, but also combining that with some VO2 work, because I had very little VO2 work in the lead up to Port Mac. So adding some of this back into the program now, I think it's going to be really helpful. But that's a good start to a big day.
Cause it'll give me time to think. If I had a chance, I'd ask a woman to dance, and I'll be dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. Dancing with myself. When there's nothing to lose, so there's nothing to prove.
Wednesday morning, got a 4K swim with some threshold efforts. Wednesday afternoon, 2 hours on the bike, all aerobic, 190 watts. Thursday morning, straight back on the bike now for 2 more hours aerobic. Alright, that's 2 hours, starting to feel pretty good on the bike again. Thursday afternoon, 90-minute run with the main set as 15 minutes at threshold and 2 by 9 minutes at threshold.
Cause it'll give me time to think. If I had the chance, I'd ask a woman to dance, and I'll be dancing with myself.
Alright, 16.24 kilometers, 1 hour, 22 minutes, 5:05 per kilometer. I am tired. Friday morning, we've got a 4K swim with a strength endurance focus. Friday afternoon, we've got a quality session on the bike, 3 by 20 minutes at threshold. Alright, let's do it. Alright, first one's done. Felt pretty good, heart rate is at 165. Alright, let's do it again. So we've done 2 lactate tests now and had some pretty different readings. So I'll do a test at the again after this one. It's either the case that I made an error during one of the tests and got an incorrect result, or as I go on through the workout, I'm getting better at shuttling lactate maybe, I don't know. But I'm going to test again after this one, chat about it with my coach and see how we go. But heart rate's at about that 165 and it certainly feels like it's right on threshold, so I'm pretty happy with the current intensity. Alright, number 3. Alright, that's the workout done. Pretty solid one, felt good the whole way through. There you go, very interesting. So I'm going to say that I probably just had an error in the first reading. Either that or I did do some short VO2 efforts straight before that effort. So it might be the case that the brief 315 watt intervals put my lactate up, but But either way, it's good to be getting some more threshold work in on the bike now, because I really need, if I'm ever going to go close to this 9-hour mark, my FTP basically needs to be at about 300 watts, and right now it's 250, so there's a lot of work to be done. Saturday morning, we've got the long ride, but from this week moving on, we're going to cut it down to 4 hours, and we're going to add some quality into it. So this morning we're going to do 3 by 40 minutes, just under threshold. Spent the last couple of months building a pretty good aerobic base, and now it's time to start introducing some more quality into my rides. So the plan this morning is to do the first 90 minutes as just a zone 2 kind of warm up, and then we'll go straight into 3 by 40 minutes at about 240 to 230 watts maybe, with 5 minutes recovery between each. Just going to be trying to keep my heart rate between 150 to 160 and lactate probably between 2 to 3. Been spending a lot of time on erg mode over the last couple of months, so for this ride I'm going to start now taking erg mode off and just riding to perceived effort for the first 90 minutes at least. I think there's definitely pros and cons to erg mode. The last couple of months I've really enjoyed it for intensity control, but I do think there is something to be said for the over-reliance you could build if you always use it. So for this ride I'm going to go no erg mode for the first 90 minutes and just try and make it a good strong aerobic effort. Alright, here we go. 3 by 40 minutes, 230 watts. Alright, halfway through. Feels pretty comfortable. Heart rate's been at like 150. Alright, so that's pretty low. I'm going to bump it up to 240 now. Heart rate's been, I want it between 150 to 160, and I want my lactate between, a bit closer to 3 millimole really. So I'm just going to bump it up a touch, start at 240, and we'll see how we go from there. So for the rest of the first effort, I'm going to just regulate the power to try and keep my heart rate at about 155. So I'll start at 240 now, and I'll see what that does to my heart rate. I'm done. Alright, heart rate is just below 160 and lactate 2.9, so just below. I think my LT2 is basically around 3 millimoles, so they're just below that threshold, which is exactly where we want to be. I might have to drop the power down a little bit more on the next 2 as it starts to heat up in here, but I'm just going to regulate it based on heart rate now that I know that about 155 to 158 is keeping me just below my threshold. So I'm going to just regulate it all off heart rate now. Alright, number 2. Alright, that's 2 done. Feeling good. Back down to 230 watts now. Just as it starts to heat up a bit in here and the lactate starts to build up as well. Alright, last one. Legs are starting to feel it now. Oh man. Alright, that's it. Geez, that was a hard workout. So this week the volume was down slightly to about 25 hours, but there was a fair bit more intensity there throughout the week. And that's setting us up quite nicely for a big threshold block that's coming up. And as always, I'll be back again next week.